How's it going, YouTube? This is Nick Rogue coming to you with my first impressions of the newest Call of Duty game, Black Ops 6. I know I'm a little late to it. I know Season 1 just came out this past Thursday, and I just wanted to personally just give the game a little time to simmer to let people get settled with it before I give my first impression of it. I've been playing a couple matches so far today, and so far, overall, I think I would give it a pretty good impression. I've been enjoying it. Gameplay is pretty good. I know there's a lot of other YouTubes out there who've been complaining about maps and about SBMM. Personally, I have been having some issues with those as well. Not so much SBMM so far, but the maps I'm not that fond of, honestly. But overall, the gameplay is pretty fun. The progression is pretty fun, and so far I just wanted to give what my impression of certain things in the game are right now. So for me, there's some cons and some pros. Obviously, I haven't been playing as much as some other YouTubers have, but I have gotten a good feel of the game so far. What I would say the biggest thing I've noticed is just the maps. If you listen to other YouTubers, you would know that maps, the flow of the maps, the size of the maps, just everything about the maps is just a pretty hot button issue for a lot of YouTubers right now. And I gotta agree with them on a lot of it. Personally, just the size of the maps to me is what's most noticeable, because some of them are just really small and some of them are just medium size. I haven't really come across any like large scale maps so far in the matches I've done so far. But for the most part, it's just either medium size or small. And I personally can't say I like that, because it comes into another issue I'll run into a lot is just the spawn locations. Just, I don't know what's going on with it, but every now and then, it doesn't happen all the time, but every now and then I'll spawn like right in front of an enemy, like right in front of them or right behind them. And then either I get shot or they get shot. And it's kind of annoying because you want the gameplay to be fast paced, to be able to have the match progress pretty quickly, but also just you don't want to be face to face with an enemy right as soon as you spawn after your last death. So that's personally just something I have taken issue with. So outside of that, just weapon and damage imbalance. So far, what I've been coming across is people either using ARs or SMGs. And at first, I didn't notice it, but after a couple matches, I did start to notice that the SMGs, when it comes to fire rate, are definitely above, obviously, AR, but just the imbalance and the damage they deal feels a lot more than the AR. Because if you've watching my gameplay right now, you can tell that aiming isn't really my strong suit. It takes me a little bit of while with any new FPS for me to get my sea legs and be able to aim pretty accurately. And I'm pretty confident even if I just start a game, I can kill a couple other players every now and then. It takes me a couple matches for me to really get my flow. But with an AR and an SMG, I noticed like almost instantly that the SMGs are really fast fire rate and they deal a lot of damage that hits. And unless you are able to see, I don't use SMGs personally. I'm more of an AR guy. I just feel like between that and SMGs, the AR is a little bit more balanced. Especially if you can get the hits in, you can definitely tell that an AR is typically a better option. They're not too heavy, so it's easy to get around the map with. Obviously, if you're like only caring about mobility, reaction speed, obviously an SMG is what you'd be more into. But me personally, I just prefer an AR. Just the damage, the decent mobility, and the more variety when it comes to just different customization options. I just always been more of an AR guy. Doesn't mean I won't ever use an SMG. I'm just getting my sea legs with the AR right now, and then I'll probably move on to different weapons with my loadouts. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, just the imbalance with the weapons. So I'm not saying the SMG is superior to the AR overall. I would say they're pretty equally matched. It's just obviously reaction speed time with the SMG is better than AR. So that's probably what I notice most of all. Is just if you're going up against somebody in a match and they're using an SMG, and they get a lock on you before you get a lock on them, obviously they're going to win in that confrontation. With an AR, same thing. If you get a lock on them first, you're going to win just because it takes less shots for you to deal damage compared to the SMG. But the AR is a lot slower than the SMG, so if you don't kill them like within the first couple seconds and they lock onto you, then you're going to get killed. So overall, still prefer the AR, but I'll try my hand with the SMG just to get a feel of that after I'm done with the AR. And that also brings me to another problem I've had with the game is the match pacing just feels a little. I have a bit of a pro and con relationship to the match pacing because on one hand I feel like it's pretty quick, but on the other hand I feel like it's a little slow at times. It depends on like what matching you're going into. If you're doing a team deathmatch, it doesn't feel too long, typically like 7, 8, 9 minutes. But something more like a kill confirmed or domination or just something control, obviously that domination, they take a little bit longer because it's just so fast paced, because either you're in the lead or your enemy team's in the lead, and it's really easy for you to get behind if you're not keeping your A game going the whole match. So that just leads me to saying that the match pacing just feels a little bit off sometimes. I won't complain about it because I know obviously different matches are going to have different pacing, but I wish there was just more consistency between each different match. I'm not saying that they all have to flow at the exact same like amount of time to get through them. It's just something that I wish was more balanced, I suppose I should say. And that leads me to another thing, balance. Personally, and so the last Call of Duty games I've played, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, I didn't notice this like right away as soon as I started playing Black Ops. The movement is a lot faster compared to those two games. It's so much faster. It's almost ridiculous how fast it is compared to Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and 3. And then there is the new omnidirectional movement. That's part of the Black Ops that wasn't in any of the previous games. I know a lot of YouTubers have been talking about it, and a lot of people either a love or hate relationship with it. Personally, I would put it more in a con folder for myself personally, because it just feels so fast paced. Again, if you're watching the video as you're listening, you can tell personally I don't have the best aim in the world. I'll be the first to admit that. But I mean, like I said, I get better as I play. Obviously, everybody does. Just gotta keep playing to get better. So that's why I noticed right away with how fast-paced the characters move, it can be really hard to, for me personally, not gonna speak to anybody else, but for me personally, it can be hard to get a beat on a person. Especially since I'm using the AR, which is more of a close to mid-range weapon compared to a sniper rifle, obviously long range. And if I turn the corner at the wrong moment, I'm gonna get sniped. And I don't like that. Nobody likes that. But again, that just leads me back to the movement portion of the Call of Duty game. It's just it's a little fast for me. I don't think, as far as I know, there's not anything in the settings where I could slow myself down. But I mean, obviously I don't want to, because if I slow myself down, then obviously I'm going to be an easier target for the enemy team. And I don't want that. So I guess only thing I can do personally is just get better at movement. So obviously that's just some of the cons I had. Some pros I had, again, I've been enjoying the game so far, so I can't say there aren't any pros to it from my experience playing so far. Pretty sure I said at the beginning, but gameplay is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, with any FPS, when you are able to kill your enemy, you have like that rush of just energy rush into your brain. The euphoria just makes you want to keep going, want to keep getting more kills. So gameplay is pretty good. And again, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the match pacing, because sometimes it feels really slow, but other times it feels really fast. Like you get one kill and then just rolls into the next kill, and then before you know it, you're on like a 3, 4, 5 kill streak, and it's really good. It's really good. I like that. I like the fast pace sometimes. Sometimes I would like it go a little bit slower, but I mean, when it's going fast and you're in the zone, you don't really think about it. It's just going from one kill to the next, and then before you know it, the match is over. But yeah, I mean, gameplay, match pacing, kind of love-hate relationship, more leaning towards loving it. But I mean, compared to Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and 3, I keep saying 1, 2 and 3, the pacing is definitely a lot faster. The gameplay is a lot faster. Your reaction speeds are a lot faster. I haven't tried the omnidirectional movement that much personally, but I've noticed it a little bit a couple times, and it does feel kind of, to me, it feels kind of fast. I know, like in beta, it was a lot of people complaining about it being slippy and slidey. You just feel like you're just gonna glide right off the map if you're not paying attention, just how fast it is. So I do know they toned that down, especially since season 1 just came out. It's definitely a lot more, not as fast as it used to be, but it definitely is still maintaining that like faster paced gameplay compared to Modern Warfare 2 and 3. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. I just know that for me it feels a little fast, so I just have to adapt to it. And again, when it comes to matches, I know a lot of people have been complaining about this lately. A lot of people. SBMM. If you don't know what that means, it's skill-based matchmaking. Basically like crayon eating germs. It's like if you are playing the game, you're winning a match after match, you're going to be in lobbies with people who are also winning match after match. And then before you know it, you're against other players on enemy teams who are winning match after match which is making the game progressively harder. That's like the simplistic way of describing it. If you want a more accurate definition, I'd say look it up. But it's basically just you being in lobbies with people who have the same level of skill as you. So I know a lot of YouTubers I've watched lately have been complaining about skill-based matchmaking. I personally haven't noticed it so much. If you watch all the way to the end of the video, you'll see that I won every match that's in this video. And I personally didn't really notice it too much. Again, personally, I felt that the gameplay was pretty balanced overall. Like the enemies didn't feel so difficult that they were insurmountable, but they didn't seem so easy that it wasn't even worth fighting. Like it wasn't like I was fighting a bunch of toddlers playing the game. Obviously, they knew what they were doing. I got killed a couple of times. It felt pretty balanced, so I can't complain too much about it. But I know a lot of people can complain about it. I did kind of notice it as I kept playing that the matches were getting a little bit harder. The enemy teams were a lot quicker with their reaction speed, a lot quicker with their, a lot more accurate with their shots. So I'm not saying I didn't notice that. I obviously noticed that. And I personally think it's better if it gets harder compared to because it's either it gets harder or it gets easier. And it's kind of a fine line between those two because you want it to be getting more difficult as you play, but also not so difficult that it just gets to be a pain in the ass. But obviously, as you play more, you get better at the game, which makes it easier for you. And that's when the skill-based matchmaking comes into effect, where it puts you in lobbies with people who are of the same skill level as you, which makes it more difficult because you're having to improve against people who are also having to improve because they're playing against people who are of the same skill level. So I personally don't think skill-based matchmaking is a big deal. A lot of people have been complaining about it, but I personally think it's not that big of a deal as long as, basically just as long as you're adapting to the game. As long as you're not getting overwhelmed, like as soon as you spawn, you die. Some other enemy team player is like throwing skill streaks at you right after. So as long as you're progressing, adapting, and able to keep a good pace in each match, then I don't personally think it's a big deal. I can see how it can become a problem because if you're not getting better at the game and you're winning over and over again because maybe you're getting better or your team is so good that they're basically carrying you, I can see how it can become a problem because you end up in lobbies with people who are either a lot better at you in the game, and then you could just be overrun by them and not even have a chance at winning because before you know it, like team deathmatch, you've already died like 10 times and it's only been like 3 minutes into the match at best. So I can understand in that reference there how skill-based matchmaking could be a problem. But I mean, as long as it basically, as long as you play the game pretty regularly, I don't think it would be that big of a problem because you have plenty of opportunity to play, get better at the game, and obviously it wouldn't be a problem for you. So I know that during the beta and the early days of the game, there was a lot of pocket loss and pocket bursting issues. I have not noticed that at all. Most like obviously it's since season one came out, they've dealt with that. For me, the game flowed pretty well. I didn't have any moments where there was any lag or any graphical issues or anything like that. It felt fine to me. So obviously, it just seems like the packet loss and packet burst issues were dealt with. Also, the FPM, it was pretty good. I personally, I don't use an Ethernet with my game. I play on console. I don't use the Ethernet or anything. I didn't notice any FPM issues. Again, gameplay was pretty smooth. Like I said, it was a little fast paced for me, but overall, I got used to it pretty quick, and I was able to adapt to the enemy team, and just no issues with that. So obviously, I got fixed. Happy to see it. And also another pro I felt pretty quickly into the first couple of matches I played is the progression is pretty quick. Obviously, my level is pretty low. I just started playing, so obviously my progression is going to be faster than someone who's been playing like every day since the game came out, who's at level 50 or whatever. Their progression is going to be a lot slower unless they're using XP tokens. I used one at the beginning when I first started playing. It was just for 30 minutes, and before I knew it, I was like level 5 or 6. So, I mean, that obviously helped, but I mean, when you're first starting out, even without the XP tokens, your progression goes up pretty quick. Obviously, I gotta wait for my level to get high enough for it to slow down, and then I'll start noticing, and then I'm gonna start needing to get those XP tokens in order to keep up with weapon upgrades. But overall, I think progression pacing is pretty good. Can't complain about it. So that's just my first impression so far of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Overall, I'm enjoying it. I know a lot of people, they're pretty divided on like mapping, spawning, SBMM. And I don't like those things. Again, like the major thing I hated about like the matches I've played so far is just the maps. It's just the maps, there's no flow to them. They feel so constricting. Some of them don't, some of them don't. But most overall, they just feel very constricted. There's not a lot of places where you can go. And obviously the same case for the enemy team. And in most cases, like you take 2 steps and you're face to face with the enemy. And that can get really frustrating, especially after you just spawn and 2 steps later you're face to face with an enemy and you die again. So I don't know if I know there's more maps coming out. They've put out a couple maps with first season. Hopefully we can get some more coming soon to add a little bit more variety. Hopefully some bigger size maps, just so it's not constricting, because it's not as bad as Shipment. Obviously there's nothing as bad as Shipment when it comes to size. That's obviously like the like example of a very small map, like literally nowhere you can go outside that enemy can't find you. But I mean, overall, like there's just so little space in a lot of them, and it's annoying as hell. This whole video without cursing, but I can't contain it anymore. It's annoying. And I gotta agree with a lot of YouTubers when they complain about the map flow and the size. It's just annoying. I hate it. That's like the one thing I can't get over with this. Like with Modern Warfare 2 and 3, the maps, they weren't the best maps when it comes to Call of Duty. I mean, I can't speak on it compared to people who've been playing Call of Duty since the like hot days. I've got kind of an on and off relationship with the game, the franchise. So I don't know as much, I don't have as much experience as a lot of people, but I mean, obviously, like there are some maps that are just, when it came to Modern Warfare 2 and 3, there were some that were just not perfectly sized, but it felt better than Black Ops 6. Like the flow just feels better. It's not, a lot of them feel like you're in a circle. Like you're just in a circle and there's just like these little places for you to go. But overall, it just feels like you're in a circle, very constricting. Oh, and that actually reminds me of another thing. If you watch early on in the gameplay of me playing, you'll see I fell off the map at one point, and that was annoying as hell. Obviously, that was my own fault because I wasn't paying enough attention, but it shouldn't be that easy to go off the map. There should be some kind of, I don't know, invisible barrier or something to keep you within the map and not flying off of it. That's what I think personally. But I mean, maybe they don't want to do that. I don't know. I just felt like that was annoying. I mean, I learned my lesson after that first fall, not to go too far. I know in a lot of cases there'll be like, if wasn't land where I was going, so that was obviously my fault for just going head first off the edge. And a lot of cases, if there's ground around you, if you go too far off the map, they'll warn you like, hey, you're about to go off, you're exiting the play zone, go back in. Not the case for this. There should be like some kind of like either barrier to keep you from falling off the map, or like some kind of ground so you don't just fall. I don't know, I guess it makes it more realistic that there isn't, but I mean, it's just annoying. And then you have to keep in mind that, as well as the enemy team. So if you get backed in the corner and there's no way out, then obviously that's going to happen. Can't really do anything about that with how the matches flow, but I don't know. Just rambling on with that point. But overall, like, bring it back, wrap it up in a little bow. So far, I've been enjoying Black Ops 6. Still, I'm going to keep playing, going to keep grinding this progression, keep unlocking weapons. Hopefully I can get something better than the first rifle I have, because if you're watching the gameplay, you notice that I have a really bad issue with the recoil. It's not really great with it, so I need to either upgrade it so I can have a better handling, or just move on to a different AR. But yeah, so that's just my first impressions. Gonna keep playing. If you watch this long, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is again Nick Rogue. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I'll come at you again with another video soon. Peace.